Namaste. Welcome to the lecture series on the subject Applied Thermodynamics. This is module 5 in that part 1 reciprocating compressors, lecture number 6. Myself Dr. N. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Bantwal. So we will continue to solve numericals in this lecture. So it is desired to compress 17 meter cube of air per minute from 1 bar and 21 degrees Celsius to a delivery pressure of 7 bar in a single stage single acting air compressor. Calculate the power required to drive the compressor and heat rejected during compression to the cooling water if the compression is isentropic and B isothermal. Neglect clearance effects. So simple problem. So here the volume flow rate of volume of air compressed per minute is 17 meter cube of air per minute. So from the inlet condition of 1 bar and 21 degrees Celsius, so that you have to convert into Kelvin, to a pressure of 7 bar in a single stage single acting air compressor. So it is single stage and single acting. So you are supposed to calculate the power required, also heat rejected during compression to the cooling water. Now two cases are given, isentropic as well as isothermal. You are supposed to neglect the clearance effects. Okay. So here P1 is 1 bar, T1 is 273 plus 21, 294 Kelvin, P2 is 700 kilo Pascal. Now you can see the PV diagram here. So both the process, isentropic as well as isothermal process, are shown in the PV diagram. So for isentropic compression, so the formula is W is equal to gamma by gamma minus 1 P1 V1 bracket P2 by P1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1 in joules per second, provided P should be substituted in Pascal. So gamma is 1.4, P is 1 bar is 1 10 to the 5 Pascal. So it is V1 should be substituted in meter cube per second, so 17 by 60. So this is a pressure ratio 7 by 1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. So you'll get it as 73750 joules per second or 73750 watt, which is also equal to 73.75 kilowatt. Suppose if you substitute P here in kilopascal, so then directly it will be kilojoules per second and you will get directly kilowatt. So that is what the unit is very important while substituting in any formula. So this is isentropic compression, so there is no heat rejection during isentropic compression. Now if you consider isothermal compression, referring to the previous diagram, so the formula for work done in case of isothermal process is nothing but P1 V1 Ln P2 by P1. Ln is nothing but log to the base E. P1 is 1 into 10 to the 5, V1 is 17 by 60, log Ln 7 by 1. So you will get 55080 joules per second or 55080 watt. That means the input power required for isothermal compression work is 55.08 kilowatt. So you can see the work required to drive the compressor is less for isothermal compression when compared to the isentropic compression. In isothermal compression, as the temperature remains constant, so there is no change in internal energy, and the entire work of compression, that is 55.08 kilojoules, is rejected to the jacket cooling water. So heat rejected during isothermal compression is 55.08 kilojoules per second. So you have to use the first law equation, Q or dQ is equal to du plus W. So where du is nothing but the change in internal energy. So du is nothing but mCv dt, right? So mCv dt. Now for isothermal process, temperature remains constant, that means dt is 0. If dt tends to 0, then du also tends to 0. So then Q, heat transfer, becomes equal to work. Q becomes equal to work in case of isothermal process. Therefore, the heat rejected during isothermal process is also equal to the work of compression, that is 55.08 kilojoules per second. Don't express it in kilowatt because it is the unit for heat. Now let us solve this problem. A two-stage air compressor delivers 1.45 meter cube of free air per hour. The pressure and temperature in the cylinder at the start of compression are 1 bar and 34 degrees Celsius respectively. The diameter of the low pressure cylinder is twice that of the high pressure cylinder. The air enters the high pressure cylinder at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius and is then compressed to 17.5 bar. The law of compression being PV to the power 1.22 is equal to constant for both stages. Neglecting the effects of clearance, estimate the intercooler pressure, the air power required, the ratio of the cylinder diameter for minimum work, making the usual assumptions regarding the intercooler conditions. The free air conditions are 1.0135 bar pressure and 15 degrees Celsius, that is temperature. You are supposed to take R as 0.298 kilojoules per kg per Kelvin for air. So it is a two-stage air compressor. It's very important. You have to note everything. So while noting the given data, this number of stages also you have to note. So capital N is 2. Capital N, that is the number of stages, is 2. So delivers 1.45 meter cube of free air per hour. See, you have to be careful. This is per hour. So if required, you have to convert into per minute or per second. So pressure and temperature at the beginning of the compression, so P1 and T1, 1 bar and 34 degrees Celsius respectively. Diameter of the LP cylinder is twice that of the HP cylinder. So this also you have to note down. So D1 is 2 times that of D2. The air enters the HP cylinder at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, you have to use suitable convention for 40 and is then compressed to 17.5 bar. So P3, since it is a two-stage compressor, so this is the pressure P3. Intermediate pressure is P2. I hope you understand this because you studied these things in theory part. Okay, so that's P3 17.5 bar, and law of compression is same for both stages as PV to the 1.22 is equal to constant. That means small n is equal to 1.22. Neglecting the effects of clearance, you have to estimate the intercooler pressure, that is intermediate pressure, the air power required, and the ratio of the cylinder diameter for minimum work, making usual assumptions regarding the intercooler conditions. So you are given the atmospheric pressure, free air conditions, that is to calculate volume flow rate at the free air condition. Okay, and take R is equal to 2.98 kilojoules per kg per Kelvin. Okay, we'll solve this numerical now. Since the diameter of LP cylinder is twice that of the HP cylinder, right? So the ratio of LP to HP cylinder volume will be 4. You see, V1 is the volume of HP cylinder, right, by V2, sorry, LP cylinder. V2 is the volume of HP cylinder. So V1 is nothing but pi D1 square by 4. So I'll just write D1 square because pi by 4 I get cancelled now itself. So here also it becomes ratio of D1 square by D2 square. So it is given D1 is 2 times D2. So in place of D1 I have to substitute 2 D2. So square means it becomes 4 D2 square, right, divided by D2 square. So D2 square gets cancelled. So this becomes 4. So V1 by V2 is equal to 4, or V1 is equal to 4V2. Okay. Applying characteristic equation at points of suction in LP and HP cylinders. So at the point of suction, so if I assume the state 1 for the suction of LP cylinder and point 2 or state 2 as the suction conditions for the HP cylinder, so you get P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. Since V1 is equal to 4 V2, okay, so here you have to substitute 4 V2. So V2 gets cancelled. Okay, P1 is given, T1 is given, T2 is given. So after substitution and simplification, you try yourself. So you'll get the intermediate intercooler pressure, or intercooler pressure. Okay, P2 is equal to 4.078 bar. Now let us use the characteristic equation for free air conditions, that is PV is equal to MRT to to find out the mass flow rate of air compressed per minute, or mass of air compressed per minute. Okay, not mass flow rate, mass of air compressed per minute. So PV is equal to MRT. That is nothing but the characteristic equation. So that's what I told in the beginning while analyzing the problem, that these free air conditions are given to find out the mass of air compressed per minute under free air conditions. So P is given as 1.01325 bar, so it is converted into Pascal, and V, volume of air compressed, is 1.45 meter cube per hour, so divided by 60 to convert into per minute. M is unknown, R is 0.287 kilojoules per kg per Kelvin, so kilo is 10 to the power 3, and T is 15 plus 273. Now suppose if you substitute here in kilopascal, if you substitute 10 to the power 2 here, then no need to write this 10 to the power 3 here. Directly this also you can substitute in kilojoules, provided if you substitute kilopascal here. So after substitution and simplification, you will get M as 2.963 kg of air per minute. Now let us find out the total work required for a two-stage compressor with imperfect intercooling. So after intercooler, the temperature will not come to the initial temperature of the air which is taken into the LP cylinder. So work required per kg of air, W is nothing but work required in LP cylinder plus work required in HP cylinder. So LP cylinder, it is RT1 n by n minus 1 P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n, whereas in case of HP cylinder, RT2 n by n minus 1 bracket, you can see it is P3 by P2. So first stage it is P2 by P1, second stage it is P3 by P2, because during intercooling the pressure will not change, only the temperature will be reduced. So from at the end of the first stage compression, the temperature will be high, then it is cooled back to T2 and it is sent to the HP cylinder. Okay. So now let us substitute for various parameters in the equation. So W is equal to RT1. So R is 0.287. You can see it is substituted in kilojoules per kg per Kelvin. So that answer will be also kilojoules per kg. So T1, temperature of air entering to the LP cylinder, that is, I think it is given as 34 degrees Celsius, 273 plus 34, 307, correct? Then n by n minus 1, here it is P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1 here also R 0.287. Now temperature of entry to the HP cylinder is 40. So 273 plus 40 is 313 Kelvin. So it is n minus 1 is 1.22 divided by 1.22 minus 1. Here P3 by P2. See, this is P3, final pressure. So this is the intermediate pressure or the intercooler pressure. So to the power 0.22 by 1.22 minus 1. So if you substitute, you will get as 290 kilojoules per kg of air. Now if you want to find out the power is nothing but work done per second. So for that you have to find out, you have to multiply W, which is kilojoules per kg, into mass of air compressed per second, that is M. Okay, M in kg per second. So kg per minute you already calculated as 2.693. So if you divide it by 60, you get it kg per second. That's what you see. Whenever you substitute in any formula, not only in thermodynamics, any other subject, so ensure in what unit you are going to substitute. So you see, power is nothing but work done per second. So work already calculated is kilojoules per kg. So you should multiply by a quantity which is kg per second. See, kilojoules per kg is the W, right? Now power is nothing but kilojoules per second. So denominator you want second, but kg should be cancelled. So denominator if you want second, so I should multiply by a term with the denominator is having S, and so kg fat has to cancel. I should multiply that term, which that term should have kg in the numerator. So what is kg per second? That's nothing but the mass flow rate or the mass of air compressed per second. So you should multiply by M to W, which is expressed in kilojoules per kg. Now kg gets cancelled, so you will get kilojoules per second. This is how you have to think. Now some of you may directly substitute in 2.963. So you may end up with the wrong answer because you are not getting it in kilowatt, instead you are getting it in kilojoules per minute. So beware of the units in which you are substituting. So any formula for that matter. Okay. So after substitution you will get it as 14.32 kilojoules per second. Therefore the air power required is nothing but 14.32 kilowatt. Now for the minimum work, the third case is given for usual assumptions. So minimum work condition. So for minimum work condition, P2 should be equal to square root of P1 P3, which is 4.183 bar, because 1 into 17 bar, okay, square root of that. So you'll get this 4.183 bar. Since intercooling is perfect, because that is the third case assumption, T1 is equal to T2, so P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So V1 is equal to 4.183 times V2. So earlier relationship will change now. So P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2, so you'll get this relationship, or V1 by V2 is equal to 4.183. okay. So therefore the ratio of the cylinder diameters for minimum work is nothing but d1 by d2 is equal to square root of v1 by v2, which is square root of 4.183 is equal to 2.045. You see here this formula d1 square by d2 square is equal to v1 by v2. I already shown in the one of the slides in the beginning of this numerical. So that means v1 by v2 is nothing but d1 by d2 is nothing but square root of v1 by v2. So after substitution you will get this answer. Okay. Okay, now let us solve this problem. It is desired to compress 16 meter cube of air per minute from 1 bar and 294 Kelvin to 10.5 bar. Calculate the minimum power required to drive the compressor with a two-stage compression and compare it with the power required for single stage compression. 2. The maximum temperature in the two cases. 3. The heat to be removed in the intercooler per minute. 4. The amount of cooling water required per minute if the inlet and outlet temperature of cooling water to and from the intercooler are 15 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius. Assume the value of index for compression process to be 1.35 for both cases. Also assume proper intercooler pressure for minimum work and perfect intercooling. Take R is equal to 0.287 kilojoules per kg per Kelvin and Cp is equal to 1.0035 kilojoules per kg per Kelvin for air. Okay, so it is desired to compress 16 meter cube of air per minute, so V1, from 1 bar P1 at 294 Kelvin T1 to 10.5 bar. Now this is the final pressure. So P2 or P3, that depends on the number of stages. Number 1, calculate number 1, the minimum power required to drive the compressor with a two-stage compression and compare it with the power required for single stage compression. So you have to find out work of compression for two stage, minimum power. So minimum work of compression you have to use, minimum power condition you have to use here. Okay, and also you have to compare this work with the single stage. Suppose if the air is compressed from 1 bar to 10.5 bar in single stage, what is the work of compression? If it is compressed in two stages, what is the work of compression? You have to find out and you have to compare. The maximum temperature in the both the cases, that is two stage and the single stage. The heat to be removed in the intercooler per minute. So what is the amount of heat removed in the intercooler per minute? The amount of cooling water required. Now intercooler, where the air after first stage compression is cooled before it is entered into the second stage compression. So there some water is circulated around the intercooler so as to remove this heat. So this water, the inlet and outlet temperatures are 15 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius. So you have to find out what is the mass flow rate of the air. So for that, first you have to find out what is the heat removed from the intercooler per minute. Then you have to equate it to amount of heat absorbed by the water. You have to write a formula mCp dt for water. Okay. Assume the value of index for compression process to be 1.35 for both the two stage as well as single stage. Also assume proper intercooler pressure for minimum work, that is given already, and perfect intercooling, that also, because minimum power requirements we have to go for perfect intercooling and minimum work condition. R is given, Cp is given. Okay. Now let us solve this problem. So given V1 is 16 meter cube per minute, P1 is 1 bar, T1 is 294 Kelvin, Pn is 10.5 bar. It is taken N because number of stages, there are two cases, two stage and the single stage. For two stage N becomes 3, for a single stage N becomes 2. Okay, so N is 1.35. Now as all of you know, for maximum efficiency or minimum work condition, the intercooler pressure should be for a two stage compressor should be P2 is equal to square root of P1 P3. So P1 is 1, P2, P3 for example, for this case P3 is 10.5 for because intercooler pressure has to be found out for the two stage compressor. So P3 10.5, so it is 3.241 bar or 3.241 into 5 Pascal. So from this you can write P3 by P1, that is a final pressure to the initial pressure. This you can ratio you can use for the single stage, it's 10.5. Whereas for the two stage, each stage pressure ratio is same. So you can take it as P2 by P1 is equal to 3.241 by 1, so it is 3.241 bar. That means P2 by P1 is also equal to P3 by P2 in case of two-stage compression. So you can see the PV diagram here. So 1 to 2 dash is the first stage compression, 2 to 3 is the second stage compression in case of two-stage compressor, 2 to 3 is the intercooling. So the other diagram you can see there is a single stage compression. You can see, so 1 to 2 is the single stage compression. Okay, so minimum work required per second for two stage compression, so you can write it is 2 into work done in one stage. So one stage is nothing but n by n minus 1 P1 V1. So pressure ratio is same for both, so you can take it as P2 by P1. So that's what I told in the previous slide. So P2 by P1 is the pressure ratio for the two stage compressor. So it's multiplied by 2 because it's 2 into the work done in each stage. So your P should be substituted in Pascal so as to get it in joules per second. So P1 is the pressure in Pascal and V1 is the volume flow rate of air compressed in meter cube per second. Then only you'll get this second. Otherwise, usually the unit of work will be joules per kg or kilojoules per kg. Only if the volume of air compressed is given per second or per minute is given, then the unit will change. So if you substitute W is equal to 2 into N is 1.35, P1 is 1 into 5, 16 meter cube per minute should be converted into per second. Pressure ratio P2 by P1 is 3.241 to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1 here. So after simplification, you will get 73170 joules per second. Joules per second is nothing but watt. So 73170 watt. So therefore minimum power required for two-stage compression is 73.17 kilowatt. Okay. So therefore minimum power required for two stage answer is rewritten here 73.17 kilowatt. For single stage compression, the required work required per second is given by W is equal to N by N minus 1 P1 V1. You can see here it is P3 by P1 now. Though the diagram PV diagram I have written as 1 to 2, but the final pressure is, you have to take it as P3 because using same notation. So it has to be compressed from P1 to P3 directly in single stage. Though it is written as 2 in the PV diagram, you consider it as 3 only. Okay, so it is a same formula almost. Only thing is the pressure ratio is different. So unit is once again joules per second. So here V1 is the volume of air taken per sec in meter cube. P1 is the inlet pressure. P3 is the final pressure. So that's what you have to consider for single stage: initial pressure and the final pressure. So after substitution and simplification, you will get this work of compression as 86250 joules per second or 86250 watt or 86.25 kilowatt. So now you can see, so the work of compression is more in case of single stage compression when compared to the multi-stage compression. You can see here. So that is why I wrote this sentence again. So two stage compression, the work of compression is 73.17 kilowatt, whereas for single stage it is 86.25 kilowatt. Okay. Now let us find out for single stage compression the maximum absolute temperature, which is nothing but T3. So T3 by T1, because I am taking the final pressure as P3, so the final temperature as T3. So isentropic compression formula or polytropic compression formula, T3 by T1 is equal to P3 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N. So that is what the pressure temperature relationship for the polytropic process. So T3 is nothing but T1 into P3 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N. So after substitution, so T1 is 294, P3 by P1 is 10.5 by 1, power N minus 1 by N. So you'll get as 541 Kelvin. Okay, because 294 is Kelvin, the answer is also Kelvin. So the temperature, maximum temperature with the single stage compression is 268 degree Celsius, because 541 Kelvin is nothing but 268 degree Celsius. Okay. Now let us find out the maximum absolute temperature for two-stage compression. So let it be T2 dash, because from the PV diagram for the two-stage compression, so 1 to 2 dash is the first stage, 2 to 3 is the second stage. Okay, so 2 dash is the temperature at the end of the first stage compression. So that is the maximum temperature in fact. So T2 dash by T1 is equal to P3 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N. So T2 dash is equal to T1 into P2 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N. So 294, so P2 by P1 is 3.241 by 1 to the power n minus 1 by n. So after substitution and simplification, you will get as 398.72 Kelvin. That means in degree Celsius it is 125.72 degree Celsius. This is the maximum temperature with a two-stage compression. Okay. Now mass of air compressed per minute. Okay, here one more thing. So in the previous slide we calculated the maximum temperature for the two-stage compression. Since it is perfect intercooling, right? So even after the second stage the temperature will be same. So no need to separately calculate for the second stage. Maximum temperature will be same. Okay. Now the mass of air compressed per minute, m is equal to P1 V1 by RT1. So P1 is 1 into 10⁵, V1 is 16 meter cube per minute, R is 287 because it's substituted in joules, and temperature is 94. Since this is substituted in Pascal, so this has to be substituted in joules, so that you will get the answer in kg per minute. Now heat rejected by the air to the intercooler water per minute with the two-stage compression. Now when you go for a two-stage compression, right? So the intercooler water which is absorbing the air, heat from the air, should be calculated. So heat rejected by the air is nothing but mCp into T2 dash minus T2 in kilojoules per minute. So it is 18.96. Just now you calculated. Cp is given as 1.0035 for air. So T2 dash is 398.72 Kelvin. You calculated in the previous slide. 294 is the initial temperature. Okay. So you'll get as 1995 kilojoules per minute. So try to understand here. So intercooler is used to remove the heat of air. So when the air after first stage passes through this intercooler, so this intercooler is surrounded by a jacket wherein cooling water is flowing. So this cooling water absorbs heat of air. So it is cooled from T2 dash to T2. So heat lost by air is nothing but mCp delta T. So mCp, here Cp air, okay. Cp suffix A also if you want to, you can write mCp A, or Ma also you can write. Okay, no problem, because this is Ma or M, no problem. So that is what is your understanding. The formula is written with your understanding of the subject. So mCp delta T is T2 dash minus T2 here. Now same heat which is lost by air is gained by water. You see, one body is losing its heat and other one is gaining. Who is losing the heat? Air. Who is gaining the heat? That is water circulated around the intercooler jacket. Okay. So heat gained by the cooling water in the intercooler per minute is nothing but mCp delta T, but this is for water. Mw you can write, or M1 also you can write. Cpw, can you see here? Specific heat of water. Though it is not given in the problem, you should know it as 4.187. But here M1 is not given, but T2 minus T1 is given. So I am writing small t2 by small t1 because it's a temperature. I am directly substituting it in Kelvin. Celsius. Celsius. But both you can convert into Kelvin also, you can substitute. Then you can write capital T2 minus T1, but it's not required. You can write it small t2 by small t1, and you can directly substitute in Celsius itself, because the difference in temperature in Kelvin or Celsius is same, because adding 273 to this and 273 to this and then subtracting also makes the same, doesn't make any difference. It gives the same answer. 40 minus 15 is 25. There also it gives 25. Okay, I think all of you know this. So now here this is the heat lost by air, which is equal to heat gained by water, which is this. So if you equate these two terms, this with this, right? So what do you get? You get M1, which is the only unknown here. Okay. So heat rejected by air per minute is equal to heat gained by cooling water. So 1995 is equal to M1 into 4.187 into 40 minus 15. So if you substitute, you'll get M1 as 19.06 kg per minute. So therefore mass of cooling water circulated per minute is equal to 19.06 kg per minute. So this is your answer. It's the mass of water circulated per minute around the intercooler jacket. So with this I conclude this lecture number 6, and will continue in the lecture number 7. Thank you.